All right, today we are pulling back the curtain on our digital world. We're going to look at the secret language that powers literally everything, from your favorite app to global financial systems. And no, it's not a new programming language, it's something much deeper. It's the fundamental logic of code itself, discrete mathematics. Let's dive in. So, let me ask you a question. What could possibly connect that simple little app you use to order coffee with, say, the gigantic, sprawling database of a global bank? I mean, one is personal and tiny, the other is vast and industrial. What's the common thread there? Well, here's the answer, and it's kind of wild. They're both built on the exact same foundation of pure, totally unambiguous logic. This is the language that lets computer scientists build our entire digital reality, from the simplest little tasks to the most mind-bogglingly complex systems. And today, we're going to learn its basic grammar. This language is discrete mathematics. And it's often called the intellectual boot camp for computer science. Why? Well, because it's not about memorizing a bunch of formulas. It's about learning to think with perfect clarity and structure. And those are the absolute non-negotiable skills you need to build technology. So where do we even begin? With an idea that is so simple it's almost deceptive. We start with a container for putting things in, just a simple box. In the world of math, we call this container a set. Now hold on, because this definition is incredibly precise for a reason. Every single word here matters. Unordered means the sequence doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3 is the exact same set as 3, 1, 2. Distinct means no duplicates, simple enough. But the most crucial part is this phrase, well-defined. What in the world does that mean? Well, look at this. On the left, we've got a perfectly well-defined set, the set of vowels. There is zero ambiguity about whether something is a vowel or not. But on the right, the set of all great movies. That's hopelessly vague, right? My idea of a great movie is probably totally different from yours. And you know what? Computers can't work with vague. They demand the absolute clarity that sets provide. So here's the big takeaway. Think of sets as the basic atoms of information. They are the smallest, most fundamental building blocks we have for organizing data in a way a computer can understand. They let us group stuff together with zero ambiguity. Okay, so we've got our atoms, we have our boxes full of things. But, a pile of atoms isn't very useful by itself. We need a way to connect them, to build them into meaningful structures. And this is where the concept of relations comes in. Now, don't let the formal definition scare you off. It sounds a little intense, I know, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple. A relation is just a structured way to create a meaningful link between things from different sets. It's how we say this thing from one box is officially connected to that thing from another box. And here is a perfect real-world example. This table is a relation. It connects items from a set of names, a set of ID numbers, a set of majors, and a set of GPAs. See, it doesn't just list them randomly. It creates a structure that tells us, for sure, that Ackerman's ID is 231455, their major is computer science, and their GPA is 3.88. These aren't just random atoms anymore. They're a structured piece of information. And here's the amazing part. This simple idea, just creating relationships between items in different sets, that is the conceptual engine behind every single modern database on the planet. Your social media profile, your bank records, all of it. It's all just sets and relations working at a massive, massive scale. So we've built our atoms using sets, and we've connected them into structures with relations. Great. Now we need a grammar. How do we talk about these structures? How do we ask questions about them and get answers that are clear and precise? Well, that's where logic enters the picture. The fundamental building block of logic is the proposition. A proposition is just a statement that declares something. And here's the key. It has to be one of two things, unequivocally true or unequivocally false. There's no maybe, no sometimes. The sky is blue is a proposition. What time is it is not. This binary, true or false nature, that's the bedrock of all digital computation. And just like our spoken language has grammar and conjunctions, logic has its own set of tools called connectives. These operators, and, or, if, then, and not, they let us take simple true-false statements and combine them into way more complex, more powerful expressions to describe the world with absolute precision. And this is why logic is so incredibly powerful. Look at that English sentence. It seems clear enough, but human language can hide all sorts of subtle ambiguities. But the logical expression below it, It's perfectly unambiguous. It states with mathematical certainty that if P is true, then at least one of Q or R must also be true. This translation from messy human language into pure logic is what makes all programming possible. Okay, we've got our data structures, and we have a grammar to talk about them. But how do we know our logical statements are actually correct? And more importantly, how do we build a system and really guarantee, it will work as expected every single time? This brings us to our most powerful tool, the proof.
A proof isn't an opinion. It's not a good guess. It is a rigorous, step-by-step, logical argument that demonstrates, beyond any doubt, that a statement is true. It's how we move from, I think this algorithm is correct, to, I have proven this algorithm is correct. That's a huge difference.
And proofs aren't some kind of dark magic. The most common type, a direct proof, actually follows a very straightforward path. You start with your assumptions, that's the if part of your statement. Then, like a detective following a chain of evidence, you use established rules and facts, one step at a time, until you arrive inescapably at your conclusion, the then part.
So why does this matter so much? Because proofs give us certainty. And in a world that runs on software, certainty is everything. Back in the 90s, there was the famous Pentium FDIV bug. A tiny error in the chip's logic made it make mistakes in division. That tiny flaw, which could have been caught with formal proofs, ended up costing the company nearly $500 million. Proofs are the bedrock of the trust we place in our technology.
So let's zoom back out for a second. We've journeyed through sets, relations, logic, and proofs. And yeah, these might feel like abstract ideas, but as we've seen, they are the literal blueprints for the technology that defines our modern world. You can see the direct pipeline from the theory straight to the application. Those sets we talked about? Boom, that's the structure of every database. The logic? That's the foundation of all programming languages and even AI. And those crucial proofs? That's what ensures our cybersecurity and system reliability. It's all connected. And the scale of this is just staggering. Every single day, operations based on these simple principles of sets and relations are performed not thousands, not even hundreds of thousands, but millions upon millions of times in any single large database. The entire global flow of information runs on this discrete, logical foundation. So we'll leave you with this thought. You've just had a peek into the secret language of code. The next time you use an app or do a search or you see that little secure lock symbol in your browser, maybe you'll see it a little differently. You might ask yourself, what elegant, invisible structures of logic are working for me right now, right under my fingertips?